On to our top story first. A bird flu scare has gripped Chennai and other parts of Tamil Nadu. Health officials have, in recent times, made note of multiple crows being found dead, 1,500 of them actually. Not surprisingly, the state's poultry industry in Namakkal has all but hit the panic button. The town has introduced enhanced biosecurity measures. This includes restricted entry into poultry enclosures, greater sanitation and increased surveillance on poultry and egg stock at all poultry farms across the Namakkal district. Remember, the recent outbreak of the H5N1 bird flu strain in Tamil Nadu hasn't resulted in human transmission just yet. At least no known cases have been reported, but the industry as well as the health department wants to check all bases and not leave anything to chance. Moving on, the Tata Group has been doubling down on its presence in Tamil Nadu. Earlier today, Tata Motors' passenger vehicle subsidiary Jaguar Land Rover unveiled its 9,000 crore rupee automobile plant in Ranipet. Built within a record timeline of just 16 months, the plant has a capacity of 2.5 lakh units annually with 5,000 jobs on offer. Tata Group Chairman N. Chandrasekaran accompanied Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin to inaugurate the plant and flag off the first GLRs to roll off its production line. Meanwhile, Tata Chemicals has also announced plans to invest a total of 515 crore rupees towards setting up a greenfield manufacturing unit in Ramanathapuram in southern Tamil Nadu. The plant in question will be commissioned for the production of iodized vacuum salt dried with an installed capacity of 210 kilotons per annum. The plant itself is expected to be completed in 36 months' time. Well, twin investments there by the Tata Group companies in Tamil Nadu as they bet big on the state. Now moving on, as progress continues to be made on the proposed US-India trade deal, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has said that both countries could have an interim deal by March, while the updated 18% US tariffs on Indian goods could kick in within a few days' time. Now, ever since the Indian and the US sides announced that they were in talks to arrive at a trade deal, the spotlight has been on India's fast-growing data center story, driven by two big policy triggers. One, of course, is the proposed trade deal itself, where India has reportedly committed to sharply ramping up imports from the US across energy, technology, and critical infrastructure. And the other, Budget 2026, which has put data centers front and center with an income tax holiday till 2047 and a safe harbor provision to cut tax uncertainty for operators. Not surprisingly, Union Minister for IT Ashwini Vaishnav said he expects the data center industry to attract investments to the tune of $200 billion in the near to medium term. Now, I spoke to Rachit Mohan, APAC lead for data centers at JLL, and Sanjeev Kumar Gupta, CEO of the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, to find out how these triggers could grow the data center industry in South India. Here's a slice of that conversation. I'm now joined by Rachit Mohan, APAC lead for data centers at JLL, as well as Sanjeev Kumar Gupta, CEO at the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission. Gentlemen, firstly, thanks so much for joining us. Let me start with you, Rachit. It was not very long ago that we were discussing the prospect of growth in India's data center segment for 2026. Do you reckon now that the US-India trade deal and India's import commitments specifically and budgetary incentives along the lines of a tax holiday and those safe harbor provisions, do you think these could see projections for 2026? 400 megawatts of data center capacity, that's what you first told me when we had this conversation. Could this now be set for an upward revision?
So, Jude, thanks a lot, and very, very relevant question, and very, very interesting timing for this coming through. We're all very excited about these developments right now. We anticipate now. We need to understand that data centers, this is infrastructure end of the day, and there's a lot of infrastructure around power, substations, data center builds, fit outs, servers, supply chain. There's a lot that is out there at stake, right? So we anticipate that there's going to be definitely an uplift in this. But there's going to be a little bit of a lead time for some of these capacities to really start coming online. We do expect that deal activity is going to go really, really high in the next few years. The 2026 number may look somewhere close to the 400 megawatt mark, maybe move up a little bit. But I think the big change is going to happen in the 2027, going all the way through 2030 kind of a time frame, which is where accelerated commitments are going to start coming into picture, and we'll see a lot more deployments coming in. Some of the projections that we had given earlier of taking this to 3 gigawatts by 2027 end are probably going to start looking more aggressive in times to come. Very aggressive expectations from here.
Right, lots to look forward to then in terms of investments and the pipeline in terms of data centers itself. Sanjeev, very quickly coming over to you. I want to break down some of the most operative parts of that proposed US-India trade deal and how it will impact data centers itself. Now, according to what President Trump has said, India has committed to buying $500 billion worth of US products, especially in energy, technology, agriculture, and coal. Now, all of this is part of the country's import bill. So the assumption now is that a large part of this will be technology that will now be imported versus India having to develop its own tech stack, which would have been the case had trade ties not be restored. I get that it's in the sphere of speculation, but that is how things were looking like not very long ago. So good for data centers, yes, this agreement, but will this now disincentivize homegrown Atmanirbhar tech emerging from Indian shores, Sanjeev?
Hey, thanks, Jude. But I think the more important point is looking at what technology brings value to you, right? So today, if you look at the high performance computing, to look at the hyperscalers or edge data centers, you require a technology. Do we have a technology in-house today? Bits and pieces. But we require a technology. And I think this deal will definitely bring those technology part here in the country. And that too at a very lower cost, where we need our own entrepreneurs and inventions and happening around in different fields, innovations in the field of power and water and efficiency. They require those bases to come in place with us, where they will do this by testing around. So I see that your cost of those technologies is going to come down, boost the innovations, much more multiplier, and then the India stack, which is in developing phase right now, will become much more prominent. You see the nuclear energy opening up, right? You see what's happening around on the servers that have been designed by India. In fact, my Mysore-based company is designing the GPUs. There are many others who are playing it. So there are examples that are coming up. Is that if we get more advantages from the cost perspective, we will amplify the efforts of innovations happening in this field. So right. I see it's not a challenge. It's definitely given an opportunity to bring more value towards the data centers, towards the innovations, and value for our entrepreneurs, especially on AI side. We are the leading state, leading country as well in terms of the AI ecosystem.
Right, a whole lot of opportunity, no doubt, but there's also a lot to unpack here, Rachit. So let me just focus on the budget for a bit. Now, those two announcements, right, the income tax holiday till 2047, provided the data center in question services an Indian company, and the safe harbor provision for data centers itself. To what degree will they help power growth in the data center market, and by how much will growth trajectories now change owing to these two factors, Rachit?
I think what just happened in this budget and this policy framework coming in has changed the path of data center industry for India. And not just for India, I think internationally and globally, how cloud is going to move, and most importantly, how AI is going to move. Until and it's a very interesting journey where data centers used to sit closer to telco business and started sitting closer to real estate business, and it's going into this whole very, very infra heavy kind of a play. There's a beautiful journey of data localization, which was a big driver, From there, now we are going to see India is going to be a very, very big hub for large AI models and a lot of large international data, which is going to start getting hosted in India. And we are going to see a lot of very, very large AI clusters getting built over here. So this 20-year tax-free period, the safe harbor, this is such a strategic move by the government. This is going to move a lot of the large, all the big AI labs from, globally, from the US, from France, from all over the world, are going to start hosting and start training the models over here. This is going to be really, really good for our engineers. This is going to be great for our talent, great and great for our power and infra industries. It's really going to, this is very, very disruptive and very, very positive for the country.
No doubt, lots to look forward to then on the data center front for, across multiple sectors. But Sanjeev, let's shift focus a bit to Bengaluru. Everyone knows that the city suffers no dearth of tech firms, from startups, AI companies, and deep tech presence as well. Now, will the presence of this homegrown tech ecosystem now be the deciding factor in data center investments flowing into Karnataka and capitalizing on the government's offer of that tax holiday till 2047? Will the homegrown tech presence in the city be the deciding and powering factor for growth?
The organization started shifting their operations where the talent is, right? So the data center also construct has completely changed now. It's looking at edge and it's also looking at hyperscalers. What does edge means here? The edge data center means where the demand is. How can we get much closer to the demand is? Where the demand comes out. Today, Bangalore itself can host roughly 50 edge data centers. Can you imagine that? This is a local demand right now. And if we see the results of the cloud service providers getting a tax holidays coming years, imagine what's going to happen. The billing is going to happen from here. So what we aim is that data centers can be anywhere else, right? Perfectly fine. You can be anywhere in India. But if a cloud service providers are operating from a state of Karnataka and offering the services to the local demand as well as the global demand of GCCs, Mr. Jude, that we have 850 GCCs operating plus here. We are 46% of market share. Now, these GCCs bring those value of AI engines here because now they find this is where. What they will do, they require a cloud. Who will provide the cloud? Cloud service providers. Data center of edge, giving them the latency and connectivity. Hyperscalers can be anywhere. Now, in that scenario, I see Karnataka as a golden opportunity for us. We are creating not only global demand. New York Stock Exchange doesn't operate from anywhere else. It operates from here. The GCC operates from here, right? So LSE operates from here. So the world is operating from this engine of Bangalore, provides a golden opportunity for us to play in the role of next 20 years. Having said this, not only Bangalore, we're creating these hubs of Mangaluru and Mysuru and other regions. We're finding GCCs coming and setting up their operations. We're looking at now very strategically to pick up Mangalore as a place where we have a cable landing station. We have a hyperscaler there. And that hyperscaler gives a fantastic ability of the network which is required for my GCC operations in the state. And bring on top of this the AI local demands.
Absolutely.
This ideal combination of this part. And just to end with you is also we have to look at when the data centers comes in, how do we safe and secure the cybersecurity angle? Just be aware of that part. We are already ahead of this curve. We're looking at quantum to come in servers in that field as well. So we are trying to make sure that the entire value addition for the tech industry, Bangalore provides the leading state, leading place as well.
Right. In fact, I'm really glad that you bring up Mangaluru because I was going to come to, the kind of opportunity there in just a bit. But before that, let me quickly get Rachit back in and let's talk property markets, Rachit, for a bit. In fact, the day after the union budget, Minister of Railways and IT Ashwini Vaishnav said that Indian data center investments could now rise sharply to $200 billion from the present day $70 billion. The minister did not specify a timeline by which time this could happen, but the fact is that the projection was made by the center itself. Now, should this happen, which property markets in India do you expect to see more activity, coming from on the data center front? Is it going to be more Vizag and Andhra, or are there other contenders like Mangaluru, for instance?
So I'll tell you, and just in continuation, thanks, Jude. Just in continuation to what Sanjeev was saying, Bangalore is like the innovation hub, and this is where a lot of the foundries, a lot of the research centers, and actually a lot like what Sanjeev mentioned, some of the big tech which have their presence in Bangalore, which started off as GCCs, actually have global research running out of Bangalore, actually even Hyderabad. We've got a lot of global research which is running out of some of these cities, and we need to be really, really proud of it. On the infrastructure side, the real impact of this $200 billion kind of an investment should happen. I personally have a view that these numbers are going to be, in the years to come, may start looking a lot bigger than this as well, because the TAM of the AI journey is so big. Opportunity is very big. From I think in the near to mid-term, Maharashtra state continues to be a very, very big beneficiary, because 60% of the data centers have been built, they're getting built over here. And fortunately, the state has also been putting a lot of infrastructure, of additional power infrastructure and policy framework in place, which will really, really, really propel a lot of growth. So I think in the next 2-3 years, there's going to be a lot of benefit to Maharashtra. Which is Mumbai, Pune kind of locations. There's going to be benefit to cities like Hyderabad and Vizag, which are going to continue to see very, very interesting growth. In the longer term, what we are going to see is, because the size of these clusters are only going to start getting bigger, right? We've seen Vizag cluster of 1 gigawatt getting announced. We've seen a lot of these kind of, Jamnagar announcements coming up. In times to come, we're going to see 1 to 5 gigawatt type of cluster, single cluster of data center campus getting built. Now, that is such a big infrastructure. You cannot put that in a tier 1 city, right? So states which are forward-looking in investing in power infrastructure, grid infrastructure, nuclear power, solar power, wind power, interconnecting all of this, those states are going to benefit. States which have already been doing it the last 10-15 years, and states which are going to continue to invest, are definitely going to benefit a lot, right? So
Absolutely.
some of the southern states, we feel Andhra, Karnataka, all of these are, Tamil Nadu, are really going to benefit.
Well, exciting times then in the data center space, not only in Vizag and Andhra, but also in states like Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, legacy names in tech, and even Maharashtra for that matter. So clearly the impact of that proposed US-India trade deal going beyond South India itself to some traditional tech capitals and some well-known legacy markets as far as data centers go. But moving on now, ET now has learned from reliable sources that Avram Glazer, that's the owner of English Premier League football club Manchester United, is edging towards potentially acquiring IPL 2025 champions Royal Challengers Bengaluru. In fact, we're given to understand that Glazer's bid of 16,000 crore rupees is higher than other contenders, notably Adar Poonawalla and Manipal Group's Ranjan Pai. My colleague Anurag Joshi joins us with the details.
The owner of Manchester United is edging closer to acquiring IPL franchise Royal Challengers Bengaluru. Avram Glazer is emerging as the frontrunner to acquire RCB from United Spirits. Glazer's bid is for 16,000 crore rupees, that is $1.8 billion. And this is higher than competing bids from Serum Institute of India CEO Adar Poonawalla's 15,000 crore and Manipal Group's Ranjan Pai's at least 10,000 crore, sources have told ET now. The Royal Challengers Bengaluru was the winner of the 2025 IPL season. RCB is owned by Royal Challengers Sports, which is a unit of liquor major United Spirits. United Spirits is controlled by Diageo PLC of UK. Diageo has been seeking a value of about $2 billion for closing a transaction, and it remains to be seen that Avram's bid, which is $1.8 billion, how close this draws the buyer and seller in the transaction.
Well, RCB could potentially have a new owner then. Now, if you're a salary taxpayer in South India, there's good news. The centre has moved to update the house rent allowance or HRA exemption list under the old tax regime, expanding higher tax relief to beyond the 4 traditional metros. So that means Bengaluru and Hyderabad will now join Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata and Chennai in the 50% HRA exemption category alongside new cities like Pune and Ahmedabad. So this means salaried employees in these two cities, Bengaluru and Hyderabad, living in rented homes can now claim a larger HRA deduction, that's 50% of their salary, instead of the earlier 40% limit for non-metros. What this will do is now bring these tech and economic hubs in line with traditional metro cities and bring them more in line with real-world residential rates in these markets. So some relief there for taxpayers under the old tax regime living in both Hyderabad and Bengaluru. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of South Central. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow to bring you more news and updates from South India. For the moment, keep watching ET Now for more.